Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Just Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa is here, and we got a special guest in the building.
Hezekiah Walker.
Hello, everybody.
Andrew Schulz, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
How's it going?
How you feeling?
I feel good, man.
You know, it's crazy. I was talking to Charlamagne about you yesterday. I was like, we've been doing the Breakfast Club so long, we got a real opportunity to see different people grow.
Yeah.
And you were one of them. I was like, I remember Andrew Schulz starting off, and the fact I seen a couple of months ago that you sold out the garden a couple times, and you had your dad with you. So
light work.
Yeah, I was like, so how does that feel, that growth? And we actually seen the grind, so people can't just say it was overnight because he's white. No, we actually seen the grind, the grit.
It was a while. I remember the first time I came on the Breakfast Club. I think Charlamagne walked out within 5 minutes.
I had to go somewhere.
Why? I was so excited. I was like, hey, man, can I come on the show? He was like, yo, I got you, bro. He comes and he starts the show. He goes, I got my man Schulz here. All right, I'll take it away. And then he just left.
But it was still a great interview.
You do that a lot. He does that a lot.
Even with this one, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk, but I'm like, I'm more interested to hear what Lauren and Envy.
Exactly,
that's my guy. I talk to him every week.
I was telling my friend, they was like, well, that's Charlamagne homie. I said, I promise you, he's going to be like, I'm not going to talk. I want to hear what y'all have to say.
Because I know what he thinks about things. But
we talk every week.
Yes, I'm more interested to hear what y'all think.
He's going to chime in. You'll see.
Yeah,
once it gets a little spicy. Once it gets a little spicy, he'll be in there.
So I want to talk about...
Man, you had all of us thinking that poor girl's family died. The Portia Williams. That was terrifying.
That note.
What?
He's looking at this note,
Oh,
and then
goodness.
I see her looking at the note, and then I'm like, damn, somebody died. And the only thing I'm thinking is she going to stop the interview? You know what I mean? Like,
No.
There's this moment where you're like, does she care so much about fame? She's like, well, they're already dead. They ain't going to be more. You know what I mean?
It wasn't a death.
No, and she started to get teary-eyed, and the way she looked at her sister, I thought somebody died too. And I'm like, oh, shit. All I was thinking is, we are getting exclusive. But
You see what I'm saying? She worse than me. I'm just trying to get a laugh.
I was like,
I'm just trying to get a laugh. She's trying to get it. You see what I'm
this
saying?
This is a major exclusive right here. That's why I'm like, let me see what it says, because I need to anchor in this headline.
But see, that's the TMZ brain, because you know she comes from TMZ. Yes.
And that was so bad. And sorry, Portia, not gonna win. No, everybody's good.
I know Charlamagne, even though he's an asshole, if that would have happened, he would have stopped the interview and be like, hey, I need you to go outside. I know him for that. So
I wouldn't have played like that anyway.
I knew it would have been some type of joke. I just don't know how far he was going to go.
You know what's funny? When Schulz walked in, Schulz looked at that couch, and he was like, yo, that's the whole couch Big Dick sat on.
I didn't know it was sections.
He said Big Dick made it look
legendary
smaller.
Now the couch is the couch. I mean, I remember we were on Brilliant Idiots when we first saw that, and oh my God! And I don't know, Charlamagne said, why is she calling a lift? She should, why? Yeah.
Why didn't she call a forklift?
Why did she call a forklift? And
then you said, hadn't she lifted a fork enough?
Yeah. And then she came on. It was really funny. Like, I was watching the episode, and she's quite endearing. She's just like a really, really endearing voice. But when you guys moved the couch up, and I walked in, I was like, oh, that's the famous couch. And I didn't know that there are three pieces. So I thought you rolled the whole
only one part.
semicircle out.
Oh, we pulled the whole thing up?
Yeah, and I was like, she filled that thing out. There's no way she's making it into a Honda Civic. Like, there's no way.
She said she could get in a PT Cruiser.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Well, God bless her.
I wanted to know, with this day and age with comedy, right?
Yeah.
We recently seen Damon Wayans said he's not going back out on the road because they will cancel you for everything.
Oh.
But you are somebody that don't give a F what you say, what people think, and why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good. I don't know why I don't really care, but I think that the days of canceling are done. Like, I think it's changed. I think the kind of like pendulum is swung, and I think people kind of have a sense of humor now, or they feel like less effective in their ability to cancel.
Mm-hmm. I think you don't care because you threw what could have been a Hail Mary, or it could have been a well-coordinated play. It turned out to be a well-coordinated play.
Yeah.
Because when Hollywood, there was a period, and I remember this vividly. I remember one time Andrew comes in the studio, and Andrew was saying how his agent told him that Hollywood does not want white, straight.
No, they tried to gay me.
White, straight male. So they
They
wanted you to be gay?
gave me.
They gauge you?
Yeah, they gave me.
Charlamagne
Man.
tries that
what's that
every
mean?
day with me.
Like,
They
they
gave
wanted you
me.
to try dating men?
Oh, they treated you.
No, they gave me, and they made my character gay.
Oh,
I had film.
Yeah, I had booked. Yeah, it was crazy. I had
They do
booked
that
his
to white
role.
men too?
You say what?
Go ahead.
They do it to, what do you mean?
Because it's always been that thing of like that happens to black men, and that's how you like,
they'll
get
they'll put
the
you
dresses
in
and all
dress
that. I
shit?
say, they do that to
Yeah,
white men
but that's
too.
just like the lowest hanging fruit. I don't think the dress shit is about being gay. I just think that like it's white people writing scripts that like don't have any friends that aren't white. So then when they see black people, they see masculinity, right? Like this is their like what is it? Unconscious like bias, right? So they see black dudes like, oh, that's the most masculine thing. So like, what's the funniest thing? To see the most masculine thing in a dress, like to see The Rock in a dress is funny, you know. So I think that's really, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think they did it to him too. Because you just see this like big buff guy in a dress, but yeah, I remember the guy who, it was his show. He put me in the show. Paul Reiser, remember Paul Reiser?
No.
He was making $1 million an episode on his show on sitcom back in the day. You remember the fuck I'm talking about? He was like one of the biggest sitcom stars. He was a great guy, and we were doing the show. I think it ended up on Hulu, and he called me. He was like, listen, man, you know, there's a lot of white people on the show because it took place in the 70s. It was about the Johnny Carson show. He's like, 2 weeks before he started filming, he's like, hey, man, we got to make your character gay. And I was like, what do you mean by that?
Did you ask how gay?
DEI.
Son, this is before. Damn. Yeah. So he was like, how? I was like, how gay? And I was like, why do we have to make it gay? And he's like, it's just a lot of white people on the show, so we got to find a way to mix it up. They made one guy crippled. That was the most hilarious thing.
That's DEI too, though.
I know, but it was like they couldn't make us all gay, so like one guy got to be crippled. Yeah. And I was like, why don't you ask? You know what I mean? I'd rather be limping around this shit than butt fucked. You know what I mean? So, and
that's funny though. You get butt fucked and you the blood.
Both limping.
But there's still a crip.
That was so cute. We're here, guys.
Yeah.
That was so cute.
My bad. See, y'all ask the question. So they made it. It was crazy. Like I had to change one of the script. It was two. One of the guys. It got too gay.
They wanted you to kiss somebody.
Wait, what's too gay?
They wanted me to get gangbanged.
Oh.
Damn.
No, like they had so they had like this one script. I got it on the day. They're like, yeah, it'd be really funny if you were like walking into this room. There's 3 guys behind you, and I was like, man, let me tell you what's not gonna happen. All right, yeah. Y'all are taking this DI shit too far.
I want you to get with the train.
It was like in the 70s or like it was like AIDS. You know what I mean? Like there was no protection for that shit. Like, and now we got 3 different guys following me into a bedroom.
So that was in the script.
That was in the script, and I was like, I ain't doing that shit. I was like, I don't think my guy would do that.
So what did you do?
There's a scene where apparently now like my hands are on the wall.
Okay.
And then like
that was the Johnny Carson show.
That was the Johnny Carson show.
Okay.
Yeah. But nothing. I don't do anything. But the audience is gay for thinking about it. Y'all are gay, not me. I just had my hands on the wall.
But all I was simply saying was there was a point where Andrew was like, look, I'm going to go out on my own terms. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody's going this way, I'm going to make the kind of comedy I want to make. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it ended up working.
I did. My thing was this, like I saw a lot of people kind of watering down their shit for what the TV networks were putting on. And I got empathy for the people that work at the networks too. Like you got a kid who's in private school, you want to build a pool at your house or whatever. You're not trying to lose your job because I want to make some crazy joke. So, but it felt watered down, and I didn't want to change the comedy. So I was like, where can I put out the comedy? And honestly, like having the pod with Charlamagne, and we're putting out like Brilliant Idiot stuff, and we're saying crazy jokes, and like people really seem to like it. And I was like, I think there's an appetite for this shit online. I saw your guys' success, like just seeing your guys' show kill it on YouTube. It just kind of reminded me, like, people are consuming stuff on YouTube. They're consuming high-quality content, long form. Yo, what if we just started putting stand-up out there? And I think knowing that there was this place for it made me feel way more confident. I didn't really care if it was, like, on a network. I just wanted to do the comedy I wanted to do. And then it worked, man.
But you ended up, that was risky because you was giving away your bread and butter, though. Because you're giving up parts of your stand-up special.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, it's like, I was writing so much, back then because I had to go back to the same markets every single year. I had to go back to Albany every single year, so I didn't want to do the same jokes from last year.
Right.
Like people, like that's something like early on, I was like, I'm not going to waste people's money. Every tour, I was like, people work hard. They got to get a babysitter. Like it's a whole night. It's dinner. It's expensive to come out to a show. So I was like, this got to be the best show that they see. Or at least we got to attempt to make it. So I would have a new set, and then what was I doing for the old set? And I put that shit out there, and like the jokes would start to go over. And I was saying some wild shit. I ain't gonna lie.
And you pissed a lot of people off. You ever got threatened?
Yeah.
Diddy or does he?
Diddy.
Current.
No, I meant Diddy.
I
Diddy.
was Diddy. I was thinking Diddy. But you would have had a lot of people.
What were we thinking about when he said that? When you hear that name, what comes out? Like, what do you think
think
about?
The
about
baby
you on the
oil
wall
behind
like
him. You
this.
see the baby oil behind him?
Yo, I love how much you guys have embraced white boy fun. It makes me so happy. Like
That's
it
white
makes me-
boy fun?
You guys are you guys are the black pioneers of white boy fun. Like I feel, and you know what? You know how like, and the way he goes too far. Like you know what white boy fun is?
No, I'm please.
Just
bring
like
it to speed.
straight guys making gay jokes with each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is that my old job. Yeah, that is very white. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
like,
Lauren's like, we just call that gay.
yeah, just gay. Yeah. We call white boy fun because it's not gay if it's two straight guys doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, but once there's a gay guy involved, then it becomes gay.
No, so the white boy fun I experienced at my last job, there would be a gay guy involved, and it still was just, "Ooh, this is great, this is fun."
That's
No,
a
that's
TMZ?
gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what they said in the office. But when they left, they were like, "Yo, they gay for doing that shit." I'm just telling you. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah. If you,
It was my first time seeing it. I was like, "Wow."
and you
okay.
didn't know what to think, right?
No.
Yeah, yeah,
Nope.
yeah. So this is like classic. You know, when white dudes hang out, it's all gay jokes.
Okay.
And Mexicans. Shout out to Mexicans. Mexicans got good gay humor too.
Oh, Mexicans definitely got
They
good
love
gay
that
jokes.
shit. They
Remember
love
on
that
training
shit.
day when the dude was like, "You ever had your shit pushed in?"
Oh yeah, that seemed like a rape. though. I don't know if he was joking about
Yeah,
that.
that didn't seem like a gay joke. That seemed like a rape joke.
I just didn't understand why he
Wait.
wanted that. Why wouldn't you want him to go get an enema, bro?
Yeah, you want to clean that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So okay, so
Mexican gay jokes?
No, they've
You never
embraced
seen one
the-
eat the corn the long way?
I like that corn. Can you please not ruin that corn for me? That's my favorite part.
So usually you eat on the side, man, but have you ever seen a dude eat the corn the long way? That's
I
crazy.
gotta finish my shot. You was crazy.
But I was asking, have you got threatened to a point where you was like, I gotta chill out? Because you go at
I used to
anybody,
get-
anyhow.
I got punched on stage. I used to get
On
beer
stage?
bottles thrown at me.
Can
yeah.
you fight?
I mean,
Got hands. You box. Used to box.
yeah, I used to box. Like I wasn't like, but I'm not like some like try to fight everybody tough guy at all. But
It's like box and do Pilates.
yeah, there you go. That's
So
better.
white, too.
Yeah, yeah. If we're organized and we're in a ring, I'll probably fuck you up. If we're
I
on the
got you.
street and shit, I'm like, I don't really want to go do all that.
Okay.
But yeah, I used to go through that kind of stuff all the time. But I just wasn't really funny enough back then. That's the way, like you have the ideas, you just don't got the skills to execute it. It's not silly enough yet. And then eventually, I think you could develop the skills, and then you could say even wilder jokes, but in a way where people find it kind of funny and silly.
Now that's
How do
something
you
I never
de-
heard you say. I never heard you say you didn't feel like you was funny enough back then.
Yeah, because how do you
as I look
develop
back,
that?
like like there was, I had funny jokes, but I also just didn't have the skill to execute some other ones. So it would just be, I just say some wild shit, and I'm like, yeah, this is funny, and then sometimes the jokes would work, and then sometimes they just really wouldn't work. But I feel like now I'm getting closer to a point where even if somebody hates the topic I'm talking about, I can make it funny enough where they could laugh at it.
You talked about the censorship era being good for comedy because it set like certain boundaries, like what not to touch.
Oh yeah,
or
we
whatever.
got to be naughty.
Yeah, but so having those boundaries, and then you look back at your old tape, you weren't as funny, so you had to develop.
Yeah.
So you have like there's a whole system behind you of like you sit and watch your highlight tapes and you use all of that to
Yeah,
kind of,
I also think censorship, like in a weird way, I don't believe in censorship, but the fact that it exists makes you have to be sharper. Like if you could, we're in the era of you could say anything right now, and comedy will probably get a little bit more like absurdist and irreverent because you could say anything, so there's nothing that's like too edgy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now comedy usually gets like a little like weird and out there. Remember Zach Galifianakis? Remember him?
Yeah, two
Oh
two
my
ferns.
God.
Yeah.
I used to love him.
Yeah, no, Zach's great.
Between two
Like
ferns.
that type of comedy where it's not like here's a political take, but it's more like he's a character and it's a little weird. That type of comedy gets popular when you can say anything. And then when censorship comes back, usually the guys like a Chris Rock, just these like historic figures.
But that's why I think well-crafted that's why the Life special is actually special, because well-crafted jokes have to make a comeback now because we live in a world where everybody just says any old wild shit.
Yeah.
But what's the joke? How are you packaging it?
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. And people will give you that liberty. Like if it's good, if the joke is good, they'll let you rock with it, even if they don't like the topic or even the opinion. They, they're like, oh, okay, I know what you were trying to say. Also, the Life one is just like so. Yeah, it's so personal and it's so vulnerable. I think I get a little leeway with the other shit.
I had to watch. Sorry to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
I had to watch it twice. I'm not even gonna hold you. No, I don't know if you're going to like celebrate it. But okay, so the first time I watched it, maybe because it was so personal, like I was like, okay, where's the fun? Like I wasn't laughing at everything. I was like,
really? Okay.
Yeah, but it was because I was trying to follow the story, and I'm like, wait, like low key, you like that had to be tough for you.
Yeah.
And then I went back again and I watched it, and it was funny, and I was like, oh, okay, but I'm like, I don't know why I've never had to do that.
Well,
ever
listen,
with anybody.
the fact that you watch it twice, I mean, that to me is great, and whatever you get out of it, that's awesome.
Did you feel a little bit retarded that you didn't get it the first time?
It wasn't that I didn't get it. I think because that was my first time ever seeing you do stand up.
Yeah.
And I've heard so much about you. I think I instantly just thought I was going to be like, oh my God. But I was like, no, wait. Y'all couldn't have a baby, and like there's all this stuff that was there. I think my empathy for you came in, and I didn't find it funny. And then the second time the empathy was removed, and I'm like, oh, he's funny.
Yeah.
But I didn't
get
get
the take.
I didn't get it. But I brought that up because I'm wondering like, is that on purpose?
Well, there's an interesting thing that like, so the beginning of the special, I say we had the baby specifically for that reason. Is that I felt like the audience would be too concerned and distraught. So if you paid attention to the beginning, you might have felt better.
Well, I did hear that in the beginning, and I watched you on Brilliant Idiot, so I know you had the baby. But I think it felt so heavy because you don't necessarily hear men, and you talked about this in the special.
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
Men talking about, okay, we couldn't have the baby because it was my fault. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, he's laughing and joking, but like as a man, I can't. It probably still strokes your ego a little bit when you talk about it. No,
honestly, no. Like it's weird. At first I dealt with it, right? Like so my sperm doesn't swim. That's like the issue that I talk in the.
I heard the joke that Taylor dropped too.
Taylor killed me. She said, because I beat her in a race, and then I was saying something to her. She was like, "Yeah, I run faster than your sperm."
it
was bad.
I remember that.
And nobody knew it. We knew it at the time what he was dealing with.
But the people online didn't know.
Yeah, so I remember that too. But go ahead.
So it was like
that's a tough room over there.
Oh no, it was brutal. But the joke was fantastic. Like you got to keep it in. So so it's like when I thought it was my wife's fault, which is what every guy thinks that's going through fertility shit, is I felt uncomfortable talking about on stage because that's like her very deep personal business, and a lot of women feel incredibly insecure, right, about that, right? It makes them feel less of a woman, etc.
Right.
Once I found out it was my fault, I remember the doctor said, I was like, "What's the deal?" And the doctor was like, Your sperm swims like Drewski in a riptide.
Damn.
They said you were a C.
C plus.
Oh. Okay.
Which I feel like he just said the plus so I could feel better about myself, which was nice of him. But immediately after that, I start going, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why, like, does God not want me to have kids? Like, it's like you have like this really weird like week. And then once we decided to go through I actually wanted to like beat the system. I was like, no, I think I could do it anyway. Like I got like really competitive. And then every time that we would try and it didn't work, my wife would like cry. And I felt like it was really selfish if we just didn't go through this other process. Second, we went with the other process. I felt really comfortable talking about it on stage. Like actually, once I found out it was me, I felt comfortable talking about it on stage because it wasn't like my wife's issue and I'm like exposing her like deep, dark secret.
Right.
And when I started talking about it on stage, man, the amount of people that would like come up to me and send me these DMs, like these beautiful things about like what they're going through and eventually IVF and like eventually having kids. And like, you really get to see how, I think we talk so much about how people are trying to like avoid kids or they're upset that they got a girl pregnant. And there's like all this like negativity around kids. When you talk to IVF couples, you are talking to the people that face the reality they might never bring life into this world. And then by the grace of God, we're able to see this thing that they've cherished and maybe we're trying to make for years. So you have the most gratitude for your child.
Yeah,
right?
you see how much of a blessing it is.
Oh my God. Yeah. So it's like you see the way that people react and how emotional they get about their children. And it's like you get this beautiful. And then the people who had kids and it was kind of easy for them, they'll send me these messages about like the gratitude they have for their kid and they didn't realize it, it was kind of lucky for them. So yeah, it was a really cool thing that I did not expect. I thought I was going to be the only one going through this shit.
It's a tight knit community. Like most people don't necessarily realize, like, cause I got 6 kids. So the first 4, bang them out.
God damn.
We were trying to have the 5th one and we couldn't get pregnant. So we tried IVF.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we tried IVF, paid for it because insurance didn't cover it. It was expensive as a mother effer.
Yeah.
To the point when we had the powerhouse concerts up here, I would have to give my wife the shot because you have to give her a shot at a certain time.
And you got to make it. It's like a cocktail.
Yes,
It's like
I had to make it.
At home, they're giving you syringes.
Yeah, so in the middle of the concert, I'm in the back doing the shot, this, that, and the other, and it still didn't work. So we was like, F it. We took it as, well, maybe God said 4 is enough.
Yep.
But at least you had 4. Imagine the ones that have 0.
But as soon as
just
you got
want
off
one.
of it,
It happened.
it happened,
Bro.
naturally, which was the craziest thing ever.
Sometimes it's the stress. Like, I know it's the dumbest thing, and you guys probably, I mean, you know about this just because of all the mental health stuff you do, but like the way that your brain can play tricks on your body, that you put so much pressure on like having a kid, and your body reacts negatively like that. Like there's a lot of people who try IVF, it works, and then the next kid they have naturally, and it's just your body goes, all right, it's kid time. Like now you're not so stressed, you got one, and that might be it. You guys went, all right, if we're supposed to have 4, that's what we're supposed to have.
I said, no more, forget it, don't worry
And
about
then
it.
you stop trying, and immediately,
Bang, 2 more.
two more.
Yo, women that don't have kids, imagine how they would feel if they knew how many abortions certain women got.
Bro,
Yeah.
when I was going through this, I was like, I don't even understand who gets abortions.
Yeah.
Like it was so hard for us to get pregnant. I didn't even know that it was about like my sperm or her eggs. I was like, who's getting abortion? Like, how is this possible? Once I knew, I saw it. But yeah, it's a deep.
I'm glad you spoke about it because so many people are dealing with it. Like we talked about it in the book that when you do it, so many people hit you. You'll be surprised and shocked.
It's the last taboo thing, and people feel so insecure about it because you don't want your partner to be embarrassed. So like if I'm telling you, it was easier that it was me. If it was my wife's ovaries, I don't think I'd ever talk about it.
Right.
Because it could be humiliating for women.
Yeah.
For dudes, it's humiliating for me. But like as a comedian, I think I'm a little like I find the joy in that humiliation.
Funny in anything, yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for me to deal with. And but I'll tell you after talking about it and seeing all the other people going through it, it's like, yeah, that's why honestly when we had Trump on, there was like 3 things that I wanted to ask him, and one of them I wanted him to say publicly that he would protect IVF.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How did you meet Trump? How did y'all get to how were y'all together? It
They
seems like
reached
y'all were
out.
cool.
They reached out and they were like, do you want to have him on? And we were like, yeah, we want to do it in the studio. And then they were like, we can't do it. And the studio, like, Charlamagne knows, it's you guaranteed assassination. It's like windows everywhere. It's like, I don't even know why we were trying. It's like you walk right out the elevator, it's windows everywhere.
Right.
It's bad. But right? Like, I hope that doesn't happen. But, so, but we were really pushing for that. And then when we did the pod, I like spoke to his kid for a while before. And I spoke to Dana White.
Which one?
Junior.
Okay.
No, Junior. Yeah. And I was like, just tell me some stories. And like, I just kind of wanted to say again.
The party. You talked about the party.
Oh, yeah. So he told me about that one. He told me, there's a part I didn't say on the interview, but because I said he just went up to the roof and kicked everybody out. But like what Junior told me is he was in his underwear. So like, just imagine Trump
Donald Trump in his underwear?
No, Junior, for the people who haven't seen the interview, Schulz in the group, they talk about Donald Trump Jr. had a huge
Crazy
party.
yeah.
And then they had to throw everybody out because Trump found out about the party.
Well, yeah, he
but
wasn't
then
supposed to be back.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be back. It was kind of like something on like a movie. Like dad comes home, but he like never mentions it.
Yeah.
So Trump Jr. is like,
yeah,
almost
yeah.
like it didn't happen.
Exactly.
But we
Like,
didn't
they've
know
never
he
talked
was in
about
his underwear. So that party got real crazy.
Yeah, that was the first time he addressed it in like 40 years or something like that. He never addressed it with his kid.
There's a guy in this room, a young black male, who said he watched Trump on Flagrant, and he goes, that Flagrant interview is going to get Trump elected.
That guy that you're talking about, he's been MAGA for a while.
No, I'm not
I just want to let y'all know.
Not gonna hold y'all.
He was waiting for that moment.
I felt the same way. That was the first time I looked at him as like a person. I was like, why am I like? I was like, oh my God, he's a granddad. He cares about his kids. Like, ugh. But it was like y'all made him. He was having a good time.
So it's Schultz's fault, basically.
Yeah, it's my fault.
It's your fault.
Well, that and the commercial where another young black guy in this room did a commercial that Trump used and played over.
I met the guy who made that commercial.
And over again.
You
Talking
met him?
about how-
Yeah.
yeah.
What did he say?
Yeah, he was like, hey, thanks. Charlamagne really helped us out with that one. I mean, that commercial was unbelievable.
So it's our fault. It's our fault.
World
Jesus
Series.
Christ.
It is
Everywhere.
really crazy that the election was decided in this room right now. We don't get enough credit.
But do you get that response from people though? Like, yo, y'all humanized somebody that like we low key. Even when he got shot, I felt like people were like, oh, we don't want that to happen. But
what I'd say to people, and I have like a way more humble take than I think most. Like, I don't think that we had any impact on the election. I don't think that any of the podcasts. Like, I think that what America had decided is a lot of America weren't voting for Trump. they were rejecting the current administration. They just didn't like what was happening. And I think the way that the current administration was campaigning, they're basically kind of saying, hey, everything's good. We're going to kind of keep doing this. And I think a lot of Americans were like, I don't really feel like it's good, so I'm going to go for anything but this. But I think the idea of Trump is always he's a populist. So if you vote for him, it means you love him and you're obsessed with him and you're MAGA until you die. Where I think a lot of it is really just rejection. In the same way that when people voted for Biden, they didn't really vote for Biden. They voted against the chaos of Trump.
And the chaos of the world at that time.
Yes.
It was COVID, it was George Floyd. But also, we talk about this, America had its mind made up for 2 years that they was voting for Trump. We knew that. Like, it's not like we knew that. We were saying that. We were saying Biden needed to step down because we knew Biden wasn't going to win in November. It wasn't until the vice president became the nominee that it was like, okay, well, maybe there is another option. But everybody knew.
It's not.
So what do you think about everything that Trump's doing now?
Well, what specifically?
There's a whole lot. I mean, there's so many orders.
You love the Gulf of Mexico
between.
Oh, I love that.
I saw that on Joe Rogan, right?
I think it was Megyn Kelly.
Okay.
But yeah, I love the Gulf of America. I mean, it's North America, Central America, South America. Why we call it the Gulf of Mexico? It should feel like the Gulf of America. It's not the Gulf of North America. It's just the Gulf of America. But again, what I like is just like, I like saying audacious shit. I'm an American. Like, Americans in general, like in our DNA, we like risk takers and we like people who are brave. And I think that's like the tricky thing for Democrats right now. And keep in mind, I'm like a lifelong Democrat. I grew up in an arts family. Both of my parents were dance teachers. Like, I live in New York City my whole life. So what I need is some energy on the Democratic side. We talk about this all the time. Is I need some like shit talk. I need some bodacious shit talk. And I think the thing that really Americans care about right now is it's things are expensive.
Right.
And I think Democrats need their build the wall. And whatever that is, it has to tap into what people are struggling with right now. So if it's
they first have to build the team.
Well, exactly. But it could just be one outsider. Like I think it's dollar eggs. Like, eggs are $1. I think you just start saying shit like that. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to do it, but you start saying something that's going to resonate with people. And that's the only way. And I think that if they make it a class issue, they win this election pretty easily come the next election. But they're afraid to do that because a lot of them are in the pockets of the billionaire class and the corporations. Right. So they make it about identity politics. It's all these people that go to like Harvard and Yale that like pretend to give a fuck about you guys. They don't actually give a fuck about you guys, but they get patted on the back for pretending to do it. And now they're in this situation where the rest of America is like, I can't afford eggs, so I can't really care about the bathroom. Like, I don't give a fuck about who goes in the bathroom because I need to buy eggs. Until I can buy eggs, I don't worry about the bathroom. So you got to start addressing people where their problems are.
And you know what's proving that point? When you look at like Gavin Newsom on his podcast with Charlie Kirk, right?
He wants it so bad, bro. That motherfucker's thirsty.
Exactly. But you see how quick he is to distance himself from trans athletes and stuff like that. So now it's like, oh, so you never cared.
No, they never cared.
You never gave a fuck. It was just all about politics for you.
Yes. It's all about that for all politicians, though, right?
Absolutely. But some people show it better than others. Some people act like they care better than others.
Yeah, you need to learn how to lie better.
And I don't think Democrats are going to win so easily in 2028. I think that because the Democrats are in such disarray, America will say, you know what, just give me a sensible Republican. Just give me a traditional conservative.
Yeah.
Like, give me a Nikki Haley, just somebody, just a regular conservative. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. There just has to be something like radical and disruptive on the Democrat side. And I think that they're also concerned. They're playing this like prevent defense. And they're really concerned about like ostracizing a group. Like, if I say this, will women be upset? If I say this, will black people be upset? If I say this, will trans be upset? And it's actually like a harder position to be in to be a Democrat. You're the party of progress. You have to push shit forward.
And you got to please everybody. Which is impossible.
Conservatives are actually trying to pull shit back. It's a way easier position to be in, to be like, all right, we went too far forward. But I think what Democrats need to do is just start listening to everyday working class people. I think Democrats are too stuck in the Ivy League. There's too much like pretentious finger wagging. That's not what everyday Americans are, and you need to get the working class back immediately. And you're not going to get that back when you just got a bunch of these like super rich Nepo babies telling poor people how they should think and who they should vote for. Like, I don't want you to tell me, if you never had a job, you can't tell me who I should vote for. Simple as that.
You like Jasmine Crockett, though.
I love that girl. But like, that's the type of language that I want to start. I want people to start using. Like when she said, "You're Putin's hoe." I don't care I don't agree with that sentiment, actually.
My favorite soundbite from her that night.
But I like the energy because what people like about Trump, despite him being like a billionaire who got money from his dad, right? He doesn't talk like them. He talks like me and you. Mm-hmm. The Indian journalist is asking him a question, dibble dabble, and then all of a sudden, dibble dabble, and then he goes, I don't know what the hell that guy just said. That, to me, is the most relatable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I go, yeah, that's what I would have said. That's what he would have said. Mm-hmm. That's what you would have said if we were just hanging around on the corner talking.
So you like Trump because you don't feel like it's political. He's just himself.
I'm not saying the reason why I like him. I'm saying the reason why people relate to him despite him being a billionaire. Because that's the thing Democrats don't seem to understand. They're like, they say that we're in the pockets of the rich, but there's a rich guy right there. Why do they relate to him? It's like, do you see how he talks to people? He called Shorty Pocahontas in the middle of the fucking Senate hearing.
Yo, and you know what?
She's sitting right there.
It's been normalized so much that wasn't even a headline.
Nobody even said anything.
They were like, oh, that's his
She
old
got to
hit.
sit there and take it. Yeah, Pocahontas over here pointing at her.
Nobody cared. Talking about Elizabeth Warren. Wasn't even a headline. Nobody gave a damn.
He's making fun of African nations. Mm-hmm. He's like, we gave $40 million to Lesotho. Nobody knows what that is. That's hilarious. Like,
especially being that I didn't know what it was.
Neither did I.
Was that a real nation?
Oh, when they was running down the stuff at the city.
Yeah.
I thought that was all jokes. That was real.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo, it would have slapped if he had said Wakanda.
If
he would have said $5 billion to Wakanda.
That's the mineral contract we need. I need that vibranium.
I want to ask too, because you talk about walking the line.
Yeah.
You walk a dope line because you have white fan base and black fan base.
Yeah.
Is that difficult for you?
I got the most.
Your jokes go everywhere with it.
I got the most diverse audience in comedy. It's not even close. Like, it's just like, you come to my show, it looks like the UN. So it's like, it's like, to me, it's, in my experience in my life, I'm a pretty curious guy. So like, if I find out something about your culture, where you're from, whatever, I like talking about it, and I'm going to make jokes about it just because that's my way of communicating in the world. Mm-hmm. What I found is like, when you make fun of people based on things that they're proud of or they haven't realized about themselves, they don't feel offended. They feel kind of seen. They feel noticed. And they appreciate it. So all these different groups would start coming out to shows, you know? And I was like, oh, this is really fucking cool. And when everybody comes out to the show, we all kind of submit to this idea, like, everybody's going to be made fun of. We all going to laugh at each other. We're going to laugh at ourselves. And it's a cool, little, beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's never been like black people found out about me before white people. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm doing Brilliant Dates with him, like Guy Code, to be honest. Black people were on way before white people. I mean, eventually towards the end seasons of Guy Code, I think it like just crossed over. Yep. But early on, MTV2 was more like hip hop related.
Yeah.
And then I think
it was the Rogan.
I think white people started to find me. And then, like, you know, Indians found me. Obviously, I do the pod with Akash, but also some stand-up clips that would go viral out there. Albanians would see me from some clip, and like all these different groups would come out. And it's my favorite thing of looking out in the audience. Bro, I used to go to comedy clubs when I was on tour, and the owners would be like, because it would be all black people for the weekend, and they would think I was like Gary Owen or something like that. They were like, what the fuck is going on?
Gary never called you like, man, what's the secret, man? Like,
how do you get white people to fuck with you? I got black people, Dad. How do I get white people? Yeah.
What about, because you said when you make people feel good because they feel seen, but what about in the moments where you're making people, like, things that people don't want to be seen for, you're bringing that up and they're upset? Like, I know Black woman was really upset at you for a second.
Yeah, but I would say that they're upset for like a joke that I tried to make on the pod. Mm-hmm. And like, the problem with the pod, I mean, I love pod, don't get me wrong. It's like, it's not really jokes. It's just like mounds of clay. A joke on stage is like a statue. You know, you like molded it, carved it, like.
You can't work out on a pod.
Yeah, but
you can, but it's gonna be bad.
It's problem. And like, so like, what I always say to people is like, first of all, if like I'm making a joke, I'm like teasing you about something, right? And you go to me, hey, that kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm never going to tease you again because I don't want you to be uncomfortable.
Really?
About that thing.
Tell Charlamagne you are comfortable about this wig.
I don't care about him.
That's not cheese lying.
That's not a wig.
It's girl from the sky. What you say?
That's not a wig.
What you say?
That's That's not a
You
wig.
trying to win the black women back, huh?
What?
Period.
That's her real hair.
I
Get
know,
out
that's
of here.
From the scalp, baby.
Oh my God, that
Yes.
is beautiful.
Period. What you looking at over there?
Yeah, what are you looking at
I'm
over
not
there?
looking at nothing
Thank you.
that you bought.
I
Okay. All right.
So what I'm saying is like I would never like if I have a joke where I'm just like teasing you for an hour and you're like, hey, that actually makes me feel uncomfortable. Like my goal is not to make you feel uncomfortable, so I'll never tease you about that again. That doesn't mean I won't tease other people about that, but to you specifically, I won't. So if there's somebody at a comedy show and they're upset about something, here's a perfect example. Girl at a comedy show, I was saying some joke about some topic, I forget exactly what it is. She gets up and starts to walk out, right? This is a little comedy club, and I'm like, where you going? And she's like, oh, I just got to step out. I go, why? And she's like, oh, I don't want to make it about me. I go, man, what's the deal? She goes, oh, it's just like the topic. And some of the people in the audience started to like boo her for being like offended or whatever. And I go, don't boo her. She's doing what we all wish an audience member would do.
Yeah.
She's going, hey, I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to affect everybody else's time here. I don't want to make this show about me.
Right.
I'm just going to step out. And I'm like, wow, like you're just like the most emotionally intelligent person in the room right there. I don't ever want to make her feel uncomfortable. So one-on-one, I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to stop joking around about a whole idea just because it makes one person uncomfortable.
I used to go to Paul Mooney shows.
Oh my God.
People would walk out of Paul Mooney shows
Immediately.
all the time. And it was always white people.
Yeah.
They would always leave. They was offended, like, I'm leaving.
100%.
And they wouldn't make no noise about it. They would just get up and leave. And Paul would be like, oh, why are you leaving? It's not for me.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the perfect thing. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Be out.
Exactly. But there might be someone who finds it funny. So that's the tricky thing where it's like one individual shouldn't decide what everybody finds funny. But in terms of the thing you were talking about, like, yeah, if black women are upset at that thing that I said, yeah, you're totally allowed to be upset. There's this rule that like a lot of comics say like people aren't allowed to be offended. You're allowed to feel however you want to feel. Especially if you don't know me. Like, if you know me, you know my intentions. You're like, I'm just trying to bust balls and, like, make a fucking stupid joke. And maybe the joke wasn't that funny, but, like, my intentions are always good. If you don't know me, you just see it, you're like, oh, what the fuck is this asshole? So I'm not even upset at your response. Like
that was my first take. And then
Yeah.
we talked about it in the room, like me and Charlotte, because my first take was like, well, who is he to even, like, you're welcome. Thanks for, we're welcoming you here.
Yeah.
Be a guest.
100%.
But
Well, it was
I will
my
say-
pod, but yeah.
I mean, but just in our world of like black women and what we deal with as far as
Yeah.
tropes. But I will say, after watching the special and after, having conversations with Charlotte, I'm like, I mean, a joke is a joke is a joke. Like, granted, some people are still going to be upset. They probably be upset that I just said that. But
Yeah.
it depends on the person. And you can't
yeah.
win. You got to figure out where what line you're going to tread.
I also think those two dudes from the thing, like, they're in a tricky situation because, like, I think they had said that they didn't find women in Atlanta attractive. And I think a lot of black women in Atlanta were like, oh, shit, are you trying to say you don't like black women, right?
Don't get me started on them. They came out and apologized down, okay? They gave like 5 renditions of an apology,
Yeah.
and they can still stay where they at.
Yeah.
But and I think, but I think it's
people see
you have to learn.
you see through the bullshit. Like you
Yes.
know some sellouts when you see them, so it's not like it's. So they're trying to like position it. They try to put it on me, and some people fell for the bait. Like Ryan Clark fell for the bait and like made a whole like clout moment out of it when he didn't even realize like the thing you should be addressing is the two clowns that are basically saying black women are ugly and then laughing at the joke on the other podcast. So it's like that's the issue, not the comedian making a joke about a hypothetical situation.
Well, we can move on after this. I will argue that all of you guys were a part of the problem in that moment, but I think again it's to each his own. I didn't like though that they threw it one way and didn't take accountability for the fact that like y'all were actively engaged, and it's fine if you wanted to do that.
Oh, they
but
threw it
don't-
all on Schulz?
Oh, they were like, we were uncomfortable. We just didn't want to say anything in the moment. We were just trying to get through it. And it's like, y'all weren't
Y'all were
victims.
laughing. Stop
y'all were
it.
not victims. Y'all
Yeah,
were
I never saw it.
Y'all were actively engaged. Just shut up. Y'all were actively engaged, and y'all were having a good time.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
That's crazy.
Nah, they're not uncomfortable. The only time they're uncomfortable is around beautiful black women.
Obviously.
Damn.
Especially once from Atlanta that hookah.
Well, that is a good question, though. How has podcasting changed the way you approach, I guess, comedy? And after, these couple of recent situations, the situation I saw. But how has it approached how you discuss things now?
Do you care?
Yo, yeah, care is like an interesting one. Like, I guess I could deal with people not liking me because these things a lot of times are momentarily. Like, they'll not like you for a few weeks, or they think they won't like you, then they'll move on to somebody else that they don't like, etc. So that's not really like the big issue. It's just it is one of those things where I go like, all right, if I'm shooting and it's on something like, if it's on something really wild, I want to make sure that ideally that shot is amazing, you know, but I'm going to fail. Like you don't make funny jokes every single time. And I like shooting. That means I'm going to shoot and miss a lot, you know, but I just got to basically understand that like there are going to be people that don't know me, and however they interpret me, I can't control that. Like there are people that think I'm like some right-wing MAGA lunatic. And I literally, as much as I would want them to be like, bro, you've never had a conversation with me. Like you don't know anything about my life. Like
Yeah, you're just a
It's too many
lunatic.
people in
I'm
the
just a
world.
lunatic.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like you can't control how people feel about you, and you just have to continue, at least to, in my opinion, just put out good art. And when I have the opportunity to put out like a good piece of art, like hopefully the special does that. Like hopefully you see the most distilled version. We were talking about this yesterday. Like, you know, when he puts out a book, it's the most distilled version of his thoughts. And there's less fat for you to interpret in a shitty way.
Right.
When I'm on a pod just shooting the shit, there's tons of fat for you to interpret. When you see the special, I feel like you get a really distilled version of like how I think and how I feel. If you get offended by something in the special, I could really live with that because I've worked hard to make it pierce through even like the sharpest armor or the most protective armor.
Now I do get that. I do also want to ask, do you still want to make love to Kendrick Lamar?
I mean, like, honestly, it's hard to say no to that.
You find him attractive?
Yeah, man.
Did you see him in them Celine jeans? Them jeans?
When I saw those jeans, I was like, boom, bop, beam, bop, boom, bop, bow.
You gotta stop. Stop. Cut it out. Stop. Why'd you even ask him that? Stop.
For real.
Stop.
They were really upset about it. I know it was a joke, but why do you think people got so upset
people
about
made that shit racism so fast. I'm just saying he's little. Like, I hate having to explain jokes. He's itty bitty. So why is he telling people to kill my friends? The biggest thing about this whole shit that I didn't even care that he said this shit about like me not saying jokes. Like that to me is like a million people have said not say jokes. The next line where he goes, and to the N-words that coon and the N-words being groomed, slide on both of them. What does slide mean to y'all?
Take you out, but that's because I mean.
Hold on, ain't no explaining here.
If you an enemy,
if
you
you
an
say
enemy.
kill my friends, everything after that is fine. You took it there. If you say kill my friends, because a lot of people thought that was Charlamagne and Alex Media. So if you go the next line, you tell your fans to kill my friends, you get made love to.
Listen, I appreciate my friend trying to stick up for me, but I don't think he was talking about us.
I don't think it's about
I don't think
But how are we supposed to know? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't say anything for weeks. That was the other thing. Like, people ran with these different narratives. They tried to act like after what I said, I was worried about like getting death threats and shit. It's like, no, I was getting that the second they said it. For 2 weeks, I didn't say shit. I filmed my special. I didn't really give a fuck. And then after that, I was like, yo, we're gonna have some fun with this. But I don't like this idea that like I'm this big bully. It's like you told your people to kill my friends. After you say that, or that's the potential interpretation. If somebody said in a rap song to kill your friends.
But do you understand though that that was in response to him feeling like you came at what he would deem his friends or his people or people he's trying to protect, talking about
So
black
say
women,
make
right?
fun of my friends.
But if you in the street, if you outside, you outside. You can't choose whether you out or in. It's like you out or you in.
Okay, so then if he wants to play by those rules, then don't be surprised at the response. That's what I'm saying. It feels like he's inside and outside.
Plus, it's a weird matchup, right? Because you got a rapper, right, who's a prolific rapper, and then you got a comedian who's willing to say anything for the joke. So it's not even, it's like, what are we doing here, guys?
I think it's because it's platforming. It's like people listen to you and your voice and your podcast. That's why that stuff went so viral, because you got the numbers and then he has it too. So at the moment, he's like, okay.
How we know he wasn't talking about Gary Owens? That's the
That's
other
a good
thing.
point.
First of all, ain't nobody.
We don't know.
That's a good whoa.
I didn't know. Y'all not about to
Gary, you
twist
see
that.
that?
Gary was the first person to jump out.
I'm not about to. Y'all not about to twist that.
Gary was the first
In that
person to
moment,
jump
we
out.
knew exactly what he was talking about because I heard it and I knew exactly what he was
I didn't
talking
think
about.
it was me. I was like, why was he talking about me?
Because of the shits and giggles and all the laughs and
I thought he was talking about Matt
black
Rife.
women.
Yeah, maybe he was talking about Matt.
That's what I
didn't
thought. I
know.
was like,
didn't
he
know
gotta
clue.
be talking
and
about Matt
everybody
Rife
kept
and Gary
saying he was talking about me, and I was like, wait, if he's talking about me, and is he telling people to kill my friends? Well, I got to do something about this.
I got to do something.
I got to do something. Like, I'm not a tough guy. You know, I'm a certified lover boy.
Oh my God.
Oh my
But
God.
you're always going to be perceived as the bully because you're a white man.
Is that right?
100%.
I just thought it's
Is
because
that
I'm
right? Like me? Oh, I thought you mean is that right? No, it's not. What you mean?
No, like
No, like
am I a bully? Like I just thought it was
No,
like
I don't think you a bully.
I
at
thought it's a
all.
size differential. That's what I thought it was.
No, it's a
You
what
think
is
there's
it?
a racial dynamic?
Duh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I didn't know.
Yeah, of course, and
Yeah.
it's the privilege conversation. It's like what you can get on the platform. Like
Yeah.
the shits and giggles guys, they
Like,
had
I
to
don't think I
apologize
should-
60 times.
You know, what? You said something that's not as interesting. You said it's the privilege conversation. You know, we all can say whatever it is we want to say. You just got to be able to deal with the consequences.
That's the
It
thing.
don't matter if
We
you're black,
understand black
white,
privilege,
Asian,
and we
whatever.
get it.
Most people can't.
Exactly, and most people don't have the
people can't.
platform, and they're not Teflon Don like you. They don't have 15 years of the game. They not picked up by Fox News and CNN and Shade Room like you. Other people, right? Period.
Talk that shit. Everybody listen. When he is a political tape, everybody's listening.
He know that. He just want to hear
no,
it.
I don't. I
Fox
just-
got a guy with glasses and a bow tie listening to every Brilliant Idiots podcast, waiting for Charlamagne to say one bad thing about the Democrats.
I honestly
And
don't
they-
even think about stuff like that. But
It's the truth though. Because you have a platform that a lot of other people don't have.
Yes.
Kendrick Lamar has a platform. So he's like, all right, bet. You going to get outside. You going to laugh, joke, hee hee, ha ha. I'm
Yeah.
outside for my women, for the black women.
And, and salute to
listen.
Kendrick because Kendrick does what he wants to do and he gets rewarded for it.
like
and
this,
you can do that.
This whole thing got blown out of proportion. Like honestly, I think he's like obviously a prolific rapper. He's it's not the thing that I listen to all the time, but like to say he's not like fantastic at what he does is ridiculous. And I have a lot of respect for anybody that puts something out for judgment. I think there are a lot of people who like they just make reaction content.
Right.
So they don't really know what it's like to like create a piece of art and put it out there in the world and let the world judge
You
it.
have to deal with that.
That takes balls. And I admire people that have balls.
Pause.
So how do you feel about Trump's trans executive orders?
What'd he do?
His executive orders, he got rid of trans.
He got rid of trans what?
Women.
They not around anymore?
Yeah,
two
according to
genders,
him, he
just
says
man
two
and
genders,
woman.
man and woman.
But that is how it
That's
is
it.
though. Isn't that how it is?
Every day
Yeah.
the sun don't shine, but the sun still come up.
Well, here's the thing. I think there are trans people.
No, there are, but
Yeah.
Trump doesn't recognize them.
Yeah, but he's allowed to. Like, you can't force me to recognize
He's
everybody.
allowed to not believe. That
Yeah.
but that don't mean that it's not true. Just
Bro,
'cause you
I
don't
was
believe.
watching Squid Game. If they didn't have the numbers, I don't know if I'm recognizing.
What?
You know what I mean? Like, if they didn't number them, I don't know if I'm recognizing everyone.
What that got to do
Wait,
with trans?
wait.
I don't know, really. I don't really know what I'm saying right now. Listen, let me apologize before an Asian rapper comes for me. Jen, I'm sorry, Jen. Jen, I
Yo, salute to
apologize.
Jen. Jen hits me up all the
shout
time.
out
I
Jen.
get what you mean by the numbers now.
Oh,
my God.
Don't ever watch
That's why it
comedy.
took her 2 watches
Please,
to
yeah,
laugh
don't
at
watch
the
comedy.
That's what it took.
Don't
That's what it
ever
took.
let her watch comedy.
She's a little slow.
Jesus
She's a little
Christ.
slow.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
gonna let her watch comedy.
No, wait.
My God.
I get it. But wait, back to your special real quick.
I get it. But wait.
I was thinking, and I know you and your wife have been together for some years, so this is like a hypothetical question for
Yeah,
real.
sure.
Or more of an ego question.
I love it, love it,
At
love
any
it.
point when that
Yeah.
was happening and you found out that it was your fault,
Yeah.
because of, just your pride and your ego being hurt, did you ever feel like, man, like, what if she leaves me because I can't make this happen?
Yeah, there's a part of you that goes through that. You're just like, will she not find me like as masculine or not find me attractive? Like, will something primally happen inside her?
Yeah.
Where like she'll reject me because I can't do the thing we're put here to do. So you immediately go through that, and then like that insecurity takes over, and then you're like more sensitive about certain things. If she's not being sweet one day, you're like, oh, is that it? Did she stop? So this shit tears apart relationships. That's why I tell people like, if you find out there's a problem, do IVF immediately instead of like going through the emotional turmoil
Right.
that could break you guys up. But no, she's like, I mean, this is like a little thing in the special nobody would really understand or even probably catch. But like, the first joke I make in the special is about this, about guys who say we're pregnant, and I was insulting to women. And then I say, yeah, it's like my wife when my wife says we made a lot of money, right? The last piece of the special is when my wife is saying, when she thought that she lost the baby, and I'm apologizing. I'm like, I'm so sorry that this is my fault and you got to bear the burden. And she goes, you don't have problems. We have problems. We'll do it together. So it's this idea that like in the beginning, I'm having this really selfish thought of like, I make the money in the house. And then when she's dealing with the toughest thing she's ever dealt with in her life, that's my fault. She's still taking on some of it because we're together. So it's, you find out who people are in these tough situations.
A good woman.
I got a good one.
That is a good woman.
I got a good woman.
What is your conversations like with 50? I know
50 is the GOAT, bro.
I know he loves you as a comedian. And I know you pull up for him, he pulls up for you. What's your conversation with him when all this is going on?
Did I hit him up or he hit me up or we were trying to get him on the pod and he's like, yeah, I'm pulling up. But like, he's the type of person that like, he is like, how do I explain it? It's like, you know how like in wrestling, whether the people are booing or cheering, like as long as they're making a sound,
he's the bad guy. He's a heel.
Yeah. He's not afraid of anything. There are people that are probably like scared to do, like, credit Charlemagne too. Like Charlemagne could have easily been like, hey, the heat is on you and they're going to be upset at me doing a pod with you every single week and let's take a few weeks off.
Well, he's been there before, so he understands.
That's not how I rock with my friends.
Exactly.
Like show stands by me, so why wouldn't I stand by him?
Always. But that's this is
not
like
your week.
This is real ones. So he's the type of person also who like he doesn't care what the trend is. So many people are like motivated and moved by the trend, and he's the type of person he don't give a fuck what the trend is. And so if there's like negative energy, he don't give a fuck. If there's positive, he don't give a fuck. He moves to the beat of his own drum. But I remember Charlemagne said a dope thing to me when I was going through that last one, and there was like people. There's even people in my community, like comedians, like saying some certain things about me. And Charlemagne was like, "Yo, this is actually good. You going through this right now." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because you're about to hit another level when the special comes out, and you got to pay close attention to who's hating now." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Because whoever's hating now has been hating the whole time."
Absolutely.
Right.
But they didn't feel comfortable coming out. They were waiting for you to look wounded. It's like laws of the jungle. You know what I mean? Like the lion only attacks like the baby gazelle.
Right.
You know, and like I took note, bro.
Yeah.
I got notes. And I can't wait for them to fail.
That's right. The Life is out right now.
The Life
on
is streaming
Netflix
right now on
Congratulations.
Netflix.
It's number 2. What is it? It's number 2.
Might be number 2 now.
We get to number one.
Yeah, last
This
night
Kate
when I watched
Hudson,
it,
though.
it was still. Oh, but they said that show was good.
Which one? I heard it was
Yeah,
really good.
I didn't watch it because I didn't want to mess your numbers up.
Thank
I said
you.
I was gonna wait.
Thank you.
But
No,
yeah.
I heard Running Point. Running Point is like it's a global sensation. You know what I mean? It's and that's Kate Hudson and Chet Hanks, and salute to them. Like shout out to Chet, man. That motherfucker's so funny. And but we still got to knock them out. But yeah, it was cool. We beat Bobby De Niro's show. Where we at? Oh my God, Beauty in Black. This has got to be your algorithm. Beauty in Black. Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black. It's
What, Beauty in
creeping
Black
up.
came back out?
It's number 2 now. He's number 3.
Oh, fuck,
No. You
man.
might be looking at the top 10. You got to look at
That's what I was looking at. That's what I was talking about. The top 10.
you got to look at what's trending, right?
No, top 10 works too. It's okay. We're gonna have a big
You
weekend.
still up there. That's
Well,
major.
go out there,
That's
man.
major.
Watch
number
happy.
2 is
I'm
great.
happy. I'm
Go
happy.
out there, watch it this week, and I'm gonna check it out this week. And me and the wife gonna relax and watch it this
It's
weekend.
the only way to watch it, by the way. If you
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
wife, you and your significant other got to watch
That's
it
right.
together.
The fact that you guys went through it,
Yeah.
I'm really curious your perspective.
But
on
that's
the
why we
experience.
talk. That's what we
should
talk
do a
about. That's why we
podcast
make it our
about it.
business to talk about it in the book, and we pod
Yeah.
about it all the time because so many people came up to us and was like, "Yo, we were dealing with the same thing. We felt like failures." And men came up to me on the side and was like, "I thought it was just me.
Yep.
I don't know how to console my wife." But
Yep.
I mean, once you get through that other side, you realize it makes you look at your child a whole lot different.
Oh, dude.
It just is
so
like
much
because it's the
gratitude.
most precious thing in the world, and if you're able to have a child, you know you hold that really really close to your heart.
Yeah, man. And
well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's awesome you put in your book. I hope we destigmatize it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want people to feel ashamed of wanting to have a kid, and you should have that shit by any means necessary. Like, I feel like that's the thing missing in the masculinity conversation. There's all these fucking guys out there saying what it is to be a man. None of them got kids.
You know the thing is
Is this your feminist arc?
Say again?
Is this going to be your
I've
feminist
always
arc?
been a feminist, bro. I'm a proud girl dad.
that's right.
I told you having a girl was going to change you. This
How
is
old
like,
is your baby girl?
She's 13 months.
13
Wow.
months. Okay.
13 months, yeah. I've been trying to get you on a feminist shit for a while.
I've been a feminist.
I know. Ever since you got depressed or whatever you got. Ever since you got...
Ever since you got anxiety, Jesus Christ.
But I'm going to be honest with you. They've gone too far. They've gone. Just having this conversation with Lauren. They've gone too far. Okay.
I'm on my feminist arc. You're on your masculine arc. You're back.
You got to bring them back just a little. You got to bring
It's the yin and the yang.
You got
It's the yin and the yang.
You got
You still
to.
scared
Of what?
being a girl dad?
Oh yeah, it's every day is terrifying, but it's also just like the most beautiful, rewarding thing ever. Like she just walks in the room, she's so excited, gives me like the big hug, and you're just like, this is nothing else is important even in life.
All right, well, it's Andrew Schulz, ladies and gentlemen. And don't be a stranger. Just because the little short 5'2" midget over here does you do a podcast, and you can still come up here.
Okay, I'll come up. I would
You
love
want to?
Thank you guys for coming.
Oh, always, man. This is legendary to be
It's
here,
Andrew
man.
Schulz. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.